In this video, we'll take a look at how to add some basic content to your Google Vids presentation. If you have not done so already, we recommend checking out our Intro to Google Vids video in the description to have a basic understanding of the layout and recording options available with this tool. So I'm going to create a demo video project, and my goal in this project is to create an advertisement for a location to visit. I'm going to pick my hometown of Philadelphia. So I want to include a title scene and a few other scenes to showcase some places there to visit. To start off, I'm going to go to the toolbar and I'm going to look for a stock video. So I'll choose stock, and then in this search bar, I'll type Philadelphia. I have a lot of different options to choose from now, such as videos, stock images, music, stickers, sound effects, and GIFs. I'm going to click on videos to see all the options available to me. And now I'll choose a video that I want to insert into the scene. Once my video is added, I can move and resize it across the canvas. I could also select the crop button if I wanted to crop out a section of my video. But I'll leave this alone for now and just have the video take up the entire canvas. When I select my video, I do have some other options as well. I can adjust the formatting of my video, adjust the playback options to choose when my video starts and ends. I can adjust volume settings if there is any audio with my video. And I can include an animation effect on my video in the scene. Right now though, I don't need to utilize these options, so I'm going to leave the video alone, taking up the entire canvas. So now I want to overlay text on my video in this intro scene. So I'll head over to where it says text on my toolbar. Here I can add a title, subtitle, or body text. I can also view some templated options that I can include on my screen as well. You can see there are different template options for uses like inserting headlines, inserting phrases, speakers, and more. But for me, I just want to include a title, so that's what I'll choose. Now that I have text overlaid on my video, I can type, "Why visit Philly?" And then, I can change the color of that text and the font. Now I can arrange where I want this on my video. Now I can hit play and I can see how this looks on the canvas. Personally, I think this needs something else. And what I think that is an animation. I want this text to jump onto the screen. So if I click on my text, I can see the animation icon. When I click it, I have several animation options that I can choose from in this animation menu. Personally, I like the fade animation, so I'm going to choose that. If I want, I can choose the duration of the animation in the scene. Mine is set to 0.8 seconds, so I think that should be good enough. With certain animations, you have some additional options. Because this is text that is being animated, this animation is allowing me to animate by the whole object, by paragraph, word, or character. I'm going to select character. It's important to note that when you choose an animation, you may want to select this slider to separate the enter and exit animations. Otherwise, when the scene ends, an exit animation will be applied like this. But by separating the animations, you'll have a dedicated Exit tab where you can select None if you don't wish for the object to leave the scene in an animation style. Now I want to focus on the timeline, because if I hit play at the beginning of the scene, you'll notice that my text comes into the scene immediately. I instead want this to come in after a few seconds. So if I lift up this timeline, I can see the two objects in my scene, the text and the video that I added. I want to hover over the beginning of this text and then drag it down so that it doesn't appear until a few seconds into the scene. Looking at this scene, as a whole, it lasts a little long for an intro scene, so I want to shorten it. If I hover my mouse over the end of the scene, I can grab this bar and shorten the scene overall. So now I have my title scene, and now I need to add on to my project. So to create a new scene, I can select this plus button on the timeline. And now I have a new canvas to work with. For this scene, along with others, I want to highlight something about Philadelphia to encourage people to visit. Since it's a very historical city, let's focus on that. I'm going to go back to my stock area on the toolbar. And I'm going to look for a popular historical destination, the Liberty Bell. In the videos section, I can see a video of the Liberty Bell with Independence Hall behind it. I'll choose this to insert it in my screen. I only want this to take up about half of the canvas, so I'll need to crop the video, which I can do by selecting the crop button at the top of the screen. And now I have my crop video on one side. I need something to fill the other half of the screen now. So I'll insert a shape as a backdrop. The shapes can be accessed in the toolbar. And I'm going to choose a rectangle. Now I'll expand that rectangle on the empty side of my screen. And I can add a color to it. Now I want to add another shape. I'm going to include this shape over the rectangle I just inserted. This is going to have some text over it to be a heading for this scene. I want the text to have something to do with history, so the shape should match that vibe. I'll look throughout the shapes, and specifically I'll look throughout the callout area of the shapes. And here I can see this scroll shape, and since scrolls seem very historical to me, I'm going to add it. Now I can expand and center the scroll, and then I'll add text to it. I can also change the color of my shape along with the color of my text and change the text font. I have two scenes now. So let's see how things look going from one scene to another. It doesn't seem very natural, so I think I need to add a scene transition. I can do that by selecting the circle icons in between the two scenes on the timeline. I then can see some transition options here to browse from. I think I like the push transition the best, so I'm going to choose that. Similar to animations, I can choose the duration of the transition, and with certain transitions, I can select the direction that they move in. Let's go ahead and add another scene. I want this one to focus on the great food in Philly, and I have something very specific in mind to showcase. That's Reading Terminal Market, where you can get a ton of great food options. If I go to my stock area, and I type in Reading Terminal Market, I don't really have a video option that I can use in the stock footage. But I do see some photos that I can use. Let me browse and choose one of them. And once it's added to my canvas, I only want it to take up a portion of the screen, so I'm going to crop it. And now I can fill the rest of the canvas and add a title to this particular scene. So I now completed my scene, but something seems a little off to me. This scene feels very static, and I want to add some motion to it. One way I can do that is by applying a photo effect. By clicking on my photo here, I can select the animation icon. In the animation menu, I can choose a photo effect. This will make an effect so that my photo appears to be moving across the canvas. I'm going to select the slide effect, and once I choose that, I can choose the duration limit of the effect and the direction the photo appears to be moving in the effect as well. The duration limit is 10 seconds maximum here, which is fine because my scene isn't lasting that long. But if the scene were longer, I may want to consider enabling this reverse on loop to have the movement continue in the scene. I went ahead and added a couple of other scenes to my project for the sake of timing. But what I want to do now is add some music to the project. I can go ahead in the stock area and browse some music. I actually really like this track, so I'm going to insert it into the scene. And you can see here at the bottom that my music is in the timeline. And let's see how it sounds overall. Overall, I think this sounds really good, but the one quick thing I want to fix is just the ending with the sound. I want my music to fade out towards the end of the video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the sound option over the soundtrack. And you can see I have a fade in and fade out option. So let's just say I want this to fade out 5 seconds towards the end of the recording. And let's see how this sounds now. Now that this fades out, I think my project is complete. So in the next video, we're going to show you how you can share and download your project. Thank you for watching. For more Google Vids related content, please subscribe to our channel.